Hey guys, welcome to today's reading. This one is all about how your person views this connection. So, how are they looking at this connection? How do they feel about it? How do they see it? We're going to be getting into all of it. And today we have a selection of different crystals for you to choose from. So, if you're new to this channel, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. And basically, you're going to see which of these crystals is sticking out to you, calling your name, drawing your attention in towards it. And then, as soon as you make up your mind, just scroll down to the timestamps in the comments and the description and jump right into your pile. By the way, if you like how I read tarot and you want to see more of it, then be sure to check out my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to on Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So I just posted a reading all about your future spouse, as well as a reading about your next glow up. So if you're interested in those topics, or like I said, the over 90 other exclusive readings you'll get access to as soon as you sign up for Patreon, then head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me over there. By the way, if you want to book a private reading with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you're looking for a tarot reading, an astrology reading, a channeling session, or a combination of all three, you can book a private time slot with me. You can have it be pre-recorded or a live one-on-one session. You can choose the length, whether you want it shorter or a full hour length session. You get to really customize your reading to focus on the topics you want, and so that it is the perfect psychic session for you. If that sounds good and you would like to sign up, then head to my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Now, if you need more time to decide, you can totally feel free to rewind, pause, and take as much time as you need, but we're going to go ahead and jump into pile one. Hey pile one, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards and see how this person views your connection. How does this person view your connection? Flying, ride the wave. Let's get one more. Solitude and peaks of joy. Okay, so I feel like you really have this person's attention. Like it's like they kind of can't get enough of you, or they think of you quite a lot. Like I feel like you are someone that plays in their imagination a lot. You know, I feel like you're someone that they definitely imagine you throughout the day, wonder what you're up to, maybe like check to see what you've been doing. You know, if you post a lot on Instagram, or if you're, I don't know, like active on WhatsApp or something like that, they may check to see, oh, when were they last busy, or what's going on with them, or how are they feeling. I feel like this person is very curious about you, and you definitely hold their interest. Like they think of you a lot, and I feel like it's something where, like I said, they kind of can't get enough. They're constantly thinking, they're constantly imagining, and I feel like there's a part of them that doesn't even really know why. Like, why am I still so interested in this person? Why can't I get enough? Why are they on my mind all the time? And sometimes I feel like they may vacillate, like they may feel like, oh my God, I'm crazy, or why am I thinking about this person, or why are they on my mind this much? What's going on? And why are they so important to me? Like it's almost like they can't make sense of it. Or maybe when they met you, they never would have imagined that they would care that much about you. But I feel like it is very addictive for them, almost like a high. You know, their connection to you, I feel like it's like they need their hit of it. They may even try to cut you off, try to distance themselves from you, but it's like they can't help themselves. They keep coming back. They keep wanting more. They keep thinking of you and imagining you and feeling drawn to you on a really deep level that I feel like for them, maybe they've never even experienced before. I feel like it's something that it's almost like when you met them, they may have thought they would have had more control over the situation. Like they may have felt like, yeah, okay, we're going to go on some dates and, you know, they're going to fall in love with me. Or like, I'm going to flirt with them in my office, but it's only going to be like a little flirtation and it's not serious. And then they find themselves thinking of you, thinking of you, thinking of you, and just kind of like what is happening? Like, this is spinning out of my control. And I thought I could manage it. I thought I could handle it. But now I feel so out of control. I feel so out of my depth. And I feel like there's almost a sense of this person not knowing what's going on. If this person is like no contact with you, that may have been a reason why they went no contact, is because it's like, I don't know how to handle this. Or maybe even that fear that like, am I going crazy? Why do I keep thinking of pile number one? Why do I still stay so obsessed with them? What is it about them? Like, I feel like it's almost like this person may resent the perceived power that you have over them. So again, if they did go no contact or you haven't heard from them for a while, that could be a reason why. It could be their attempt to seize that power back in the relationship and try to get a hold of things. Like, it's like, okay, I need to stop thinking of this person. I'm going crazy. They're on my mind all the time. So they may pull away or kind of run away from it because it's like, this is way too much. This is like debilitating. This is taking over my life. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to manage that or how to get back to like myself. With this solitude card, they may have even felt like there was kind of a loss of their self or their own identity because of the connection with you and how intense it is and how much they like you. That may have really made them be like, oh my God, like, who am I? I used to be this independent person. I used to be able to flirt with lots of people and go out and have fun. And now it's like, immediately I'm checking my phone. I'm wondering what they're doing. I'm very tied to them energetically. Like, if you guys are in separation, it could even be they're going out, trying to date other people, trying to sleep with other people, but you're on their mind the whole time. If you're in a relationship with this person, they could be, just experiencing that part of the relationship where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm so tied to my girlfriend or my boyfriend. Like, maybe they go out for a girls' night out and I'm panicking and I'm checking their location and I'm like, when are you coming home, babe? And I didn't realize how drawn to them energetically I was, how tied I was to their energy and how much I needed them in my life until I got them. But I feel like with this person, there is this kind of fight for independence happening a little bit. There is this like, it's almost like they weren't looking for it or they weren't expecting it or they've never experienced this level of love before, and they've never had that feeling of like, wow, I'm so drawn. Again, it feels like I can't give this person up. I'm hearing this song by the Black Keys, Never Gonna Give You Up. And I think the lyrics are like, never gonna give you up, no matter how you treat me, never gonna give you up, so don't you think of leaving. And it's kind of like, you can treat me however, I'll still stay around. And that's what I'm hearing in my mind. Like, I feel like there's even this energy around this person trying to leave or telling themselves like, screw them, I'm blocking them, or I'm unfollowing, or I'm like, I'm not going to check their Instagram, or I'm not going to talk to them today. If you're seeing them at work, maybe they give you the cold shoulder, or if you are dating them, maybe they deliberately don't call you so that you will, trying to get you to call them. But then I feel like it's like, if you don't call them back, they start panicking. They start being like, what's going on? Oh my God. And I do feel like it makes this person feel a little out of control and a little like not in their power. So it's something that they fight against sometimes. It makes them feel unempowered. And I don't think they love that. I think that's something that they kind of like hate, is like, I used to be this super independent person. I used to be able to do whatever I wanted, go where I wanted. I didn't have a care in the world. And now suddenly I'm like obsessed with this person. I'm so tied to them. My mood is very dependent on them. Like, maybe if you don't give them a morning text, they're down in the dumps for the rest of the day. Or if they see you posting up on Instagram with someone else, or you went out, and your story is from like 2 a.m. and you're out at a club and you're, a little tipsy, and then they start thinking the worst and thinking, oh my God, they probably hooked up with someone, and they're completely panicked, So there is this sense of really being very energetically tied to you and almost resenting that power or that connection or that pull you have. So let's get into some tarot for you. Pile number one. What does this person feel about the connection? How do they view this connection? The Hierophant. So the Hierophant is a very spiritual card as well. And it is ruled by Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, the planet of love. And so I feel like with this person, they feel something very solid with you as well. Taurus energy is very solid, reliable, dependable. And the Hierophant is like that very traditional, powerful entity, like a priest, or yeah, it is the high priest in certain decks. Anyway, so it's kind of that masculine spiritual power, the complement to the high priestess. Anyway, so this person could definitely feel a very spiritual astral plane connection with you. And I feel like they also feel a sense of solidity with you. They feel this sense that, like, I can depend on pile number one. Pile one is going to be there for me. Like, this is something real. This is something that's going to last. And again, sometimes maybe that's why they try to sabotage it, because, they say whatever is for you will always be for you. And maybe subconsciously, we as humans, we all know that. So it's like, let me test this. They say that when a child is growing up, like a toddler or whatever, one of the crucial parts of development is them like leaving their parent behind, and literally, like, as in walking away or toddling or crawling away from the parent. And then they'll always check over their shoulder to see, like, oh, is the mom still there? And it's like a great way to test for attachment styles, because the healthy attachment, they'll be a little concerned with the mom, but they'll also be focused on themselves. And with the either, avoidant attachment, they won't pay attention to the mom at all. And with anxious, they'll be like crawling back to the mom right away. Anyway, but the point is, that's such an integral part of love, or falling in love, or realizing your feelings. When you feel so attached to someone, it's like you're very aware of where they are in the room. You're very, you might even try to see, what will happen if I leave this room? Is she still going to be there? Is she still going to stay? Is she still going to care? And kids will do that. They'll like test their parents on that and try to see, oh, what if I run away? What if I tell my dad I'm leaving? What if I throw this tantrum? You know what I mean? Because it's kind of that way to make sure, is this solid? And I feel like there's a part of them that really feels so attuned to your soul and really views this as such a deep connection for them. And again, something that maybe that has caused them to sabotage, because they're kind of testing, because they want to see, they want to make sure that, like, you do really care as much as they do. Because I also feel like there's this fear that this person has that you don't care as much, or that you're not as plugged in to them as they are to you. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number one. Let's see. The Hanged Man. Wow. Look, a lot of these powerful major arcana cards, and the funny thing is, the Hierophant is Taurus, and we have the Hanged Man, which is ruled by Neptune. But there is this really strong spiritual energy coming through in both of these cards. And the Hanged Man is Neptune, and Neptune is described as a higher octave of Venus. So we have Taurus here, Pisces, or Neptune here, Venus here, Neptune there. So it is something where I feel like this person does feel that deep connection on the astral plane, and arguably Neptune kind of love, like it's very, very deep, it's very, that's why Venus is exalted in Pisces, is because it's seeing someone on such a deeper level than just the physical, or just what they can do for you, or their personality. It's like their soul. When you're dealing with Neptune, you're dealing with the planet of intuition. That's seeing things on a superhuman level. That's not seeing things just as a human would look at, like, hey, she's hot, or like, oh, he makes some good money, or he's really funny, but like their soul being almost an addiction for you. So I feel like there's that vibe with this person with you, of like, just what we have is so different, and it's so much deeper. Let's get into some more cards for you. Pile number one. We want to know about how this person views this connection. So we got the King of Cups, the Seven of Wands. Let's get a couple more cards. Double Venus. We have the Empress coming out, and let's get one final card of the World. Look how much major arcana as well. There's so much power in this connection. I can really feel it. With the King of Cups, you may have really made them emotionally awaken and get more in tune with their feelings and their emotions. Things that they may have tried to bury or run away from or ignore or pretend weren't happening in the past. I feel like you've almost made them feel safe to be vulnerable with you, and made them realize that they have emotions that they didn't know they were capable of. I always or often think that love is like the ultimate test. We can always say, oh, I'm so enlightened, or I'm so, spiritual, whatever. But when you are having a disagreement with your loved ones, your closest ones, be it a family member, be it a romantic partner, be it your closest friend, that's when you'll really be tested, because no one can get under your skin like those closest relationships. And it's funny because it does connect with the fourth house of family and closest contacts, and that is ruled by Cancer, your emotions. So that's really, where we feel our emotions the most. And I feel like for you guys, you've brought out that feeling in them and made them kind of realize, like, I didn't know I was capable of this level of jealousy. I didn't know I was capable of this level of love. I didn't know I was capable to feel this good. I didn't know I could care about a person. They may even find themselves being really possessive or jealous of you with the Seven of Wands. They may find themselves really getting mad at the idea of you, going out with someone else, dating someone else, depending on where you are. If this is like a no contact X situation, they may find themselves looking up any new person you're following on your Instagram, or, trying to figure out what location you tagged in your story, and oh, I accidentally showed up here. But there may be a lot of jealousy, and there may be a lot of imagining what you're doing, imagining what you're up to. I'm hearing this Morgan Wallen song that's like, I think it's called Thinking About Me. I don't know. But it's like, and when you're driving with him, are you thinking with me when you're thinking of me when you're in his truck? Are you wishing it was mine? Those kinds of lyrics. When you're drinking his whiskey, are you imagining it's like are you avoiding my street because you don't want to see me? Like, that's the vibe. I'm like paraphrasing. Obviously, those aren't the exact lyrics. They don't rhyme or anything. But yeah, that's what I'm hearing in my mind, is like this vibe of like this person wondering what you're doing, and maybe that when they're with other people, imagining you, thinking of you, and being unsure of like, why are they living rent free in my mind so much? Why am I so hung up on what they're doing? And why can't I like enjoy this new random Tinder date I went on? Or why can't I, or maybe if you're in a relationship with them, they're out for like a boys' night out and their friends are all having fun, and all they can think of is, I want to be back home. I want to be cuddling with my girl. And it's like, what has happened to me? What is this? What have I become? And what am I turning into? So I feel like there is that push pull a little bit, and really maybe feeling very jealous and feeling very protective, because I feel like you are super, super important to them, and they just hate the idea of like someone else coming in and taking it, or them not having access to you anymore, you losing interest in them, or moving on, or just anyone else having access to you. With the Empress as well, they do view you as someone who's very, very physically attractive and very beautiful. And they may have literally felt like they found the one, because the World is a card of completion. It's at the end of the major arcana. It's also got all the fixed signs on there. So it is that energy. Fixed signs, they make their mind up. They don't change their mind. It's not like mutable energy where they think one thing one moment and then 10 minutes later they may, be completely feeling differently. But fixed signs really like decide. That's why, I think the pettiest energy can be like a fixed Mars, a Scorpio Mars, or an Aquarius Mars, Leo Mars, Taurus Mars. Like, it's someone that, they're not going to forgive you like 5 years later. They're going to be still mad. I heard about like a Scorpio Mars that put like a provision in their will or something about someone who had screwed them over or something. Like, they were like, I don't even, I don't care that I'm like not even here anymore. You're not going to get this, or I'm going to literally take it to the grave with me, because that's very fixed Mars energy. And I feel like with this person, it's like, they feel like, I kind of found it. I made my mind up. Like, I don't need to see anything else. Like, I'm there already. Let's get into some song cards for pile number 1 with how this person views the connection. I just want to get a couple of these. So Harmony Hall, Vampire Weekend, okay. And this is One Track Mind, Chromeo. That definitely fits this person. They definitely have a one-track mind for you. Romeo, Chairlift, okay. And I've Got You Under My Skin, Frank Sinatra. Turn to White. she and him, and one final card. Bleed to love her, Lindsey Buckingham. And let me get one more. Let's see. Yummy, Justin Bieber. So, I love these cards, and like I said, there's a lot of that one track mind. I've got you under my skin. Like, the person's energy is coming through as very, like, not irritated, but just very like, what is going on? Why do I keep thinking of them? So, you know, the vibe of like, I've got you under my skin is kind of like this tickled fascination with like, I can't, why do I keep thinking of them? Like, it doesn't even make sense to me. You know, maybe there's other beautiful people. Maybe there's other options. Maybe I dated around, or maybe I have someone else I'm talking to, but I keep going back to you, and my mind is on you almost obsessively. I feel like as well, Bleed to Love Her, Lindsey Buckingham, of course, Lindsey always denies it, but everyone feels like he's still writing songs about Stevie Nicks, and that connection is so iconic, and they had such a intense love for each other. So again, I always think it's interesting that Lindsey seems to be still writing songs about Stevie and vice versa, and they had a love affair in their 20s, and they're both in like what, their 60s, 70s. So, you know, it feels like that love is still super strong and there and very powerful. And so even though time has passed, it's like that connection doesn't go away. And I feel like, again, with you and this person, it feels like one of those deep loves that just, you know, I mentioned this before, but I kind of had to read it because it is such an iconic love, and the astrology is really interesting as well by Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. I was reading this book about them, Furious Love, and it's given me a lot of food for thought. That's probably why it comes up in a lot of love readings. But yeah, I think that, you know, they were together for, I don't know, 20 years total, off and on. They married twice, so they got a divorce and they get married again. They, you know, he went and would date other people, and then she did as well. And then they'd come back together. They kind of, I mean, they were both married to other people when they got together. Then they, you know, went their separate ways and basically both said, we have to go back to our spouses, and we have to like put this love affair behind us. And they tried for a few months, and they just couldn't get each other out of each other's minds. So then they started dating again, and it was always this passionate, tempestuous back and forth. And then again, like I said, that went on. People said, well, they'll burn out, you know, they fell in love and whatever. But they had this super iconic relationship, and they were together ultimately for like 20 years. And actually, I think that they said that Richard Burton, who died kind of early at like 60, he wrote her a letter the day before he died. He was married to someone else, so they got together, or they got married once, they divorced, got married again, divorced again, and then he ran off and married this other lady. But it was always Elizabeth, and he would always call her, whatever. And he wrote a letter to her the day before he died, and apparently he said, I want to go home, and you're my home. Like, basically, I want to go home to you. And about how he loved her. And they say Elizabeth was buried with that letter. So, I mean, again, that's the feeling I'm getting, is like this connection that, like, even if you try, even if you're doing everything you can to sabotage, to like, I'm marrying someone else, I'm divorcing you, I'm running off, I'm, you know, going back to my husband, or I'm whatever, it's like you still can't get enough of that person. You might try with your whole heart to move on. You might try to marry someone else. You might try to give everything to that marriage and, you know, completely sever ties. But when the love is that strong and the cord is that strong, it's like, I can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? And I feel like you also sense that with like Lindsey and Stevie in Fleetwood Mac. It's just very, very powerful with them. So let me get some of these cards as well. Oh, okay, I don't know how that got in there. Let's see. So we got Dreams. That's funny, as I'm talking about Fleetwood Mac, and then Dreams is obviously such an iconic Fleetwood Mac song. But yeah, I feel like also for Dreams, that's such a connection on the astral plane, in the astral realm. You know, you really visit the astral realm when you're having especially a vivid, intense dream. And I feel like this person may dream of you or just feel so connected to you at all times in their spirit, in their intuition. They may feel like even if you guys haven't talked in a while, that they're still deeply connected with you, that they kind of can't sever that tie, that even if you're not talking in the physical realm, that they can feel your moods, or they feel like you're tuned into their moods, or they feel like there's constantly songs that remind them of you. I feel like this person is aware on some level that it just feels very different with you, that it feels very spiritual with you, that it feels very intense with you. Let's get some more cards. Good luck. Okay. How does this person view this connection? Protection, friendship, and let's get one final card. Career. Interesting. I think it's kind of interesting that I feel like we have a lot of different sectors of life showing up. Like, it's not just pure passion, it's like friendship, career. Like I said, there's a solidity about this connection. Like, I feel like it doesn't feel fleeting. And I think that's one of the things that strikes me about a lot of twin flame relationships, is they might usher someone into a new part of their career. It might, inspire someone to completely change. Like, it's like Stevie and Lindsay, they had that connection, and that was basically how they wrote the whole album of Rumors. It's about their relationship, their making up, their breaking up. And a lot of the most iconic, famous songs we have of Fleetwood Mac are about their connection throughout the years. So it makes you wonder, if they hadn't had that depth of love, would they have been as famous? Would Dreams be, I think it's either the best, I think it's the best-selling album of all time in history. If it's not it's like way up there in like the top 3. But it's such an iconic connection, and it also ushered them into their career. Or Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, they made some of their most famous films together with each other, and it kind of inspired them into a new level of their career. I mean, Elizabeth was already really successful, so was Richard in different ways, but Elizabeth kind of became more of an icon because of that, and Richard moved from kind of doing like indie type films, like intellectual art films, to more blockbusters. So it's funny, because sometimes being with someone that brings out this connection with you, being with someone that you feel so passionately about is also for the purpose of your spiritual growth, and to make you learn certain lessons, and to bring up certain things in your career, or make you able to thrive. Having that person believing in you, feeling like that person's in your corner, feeling like you found your person that you can really trust, and that they're rooting for you, and they have your best interests at heart, can also help you take on a new level and embrace new challenges and like go for it. They may also feel like, yeah, they kind of like have a protective aura over you, and vice versa, that like you protect them, you look out for them, energetically speaking, and they do the same for you. They worry about you. They really do have your back. They really do root for you, root for all the good for you. I feel like, they view this connection as a huge blessing, and they're glad they met you. Even if things didn't work out, it's like they can't feel animosity for you. They still, at the end of the day, want to see you thrive, want to see you do well, and vice versa. Let's get some astro dice for pile number 1. So we got Jupiter, the 9th house, so double Sag and Aries. Let me roll this one more time. Okay, Spirit just wants us to do Jupiter, double Jupiter. So we'll do Jupiter twice. Sagittarius energy coming through very strong, and a little Pisces as well, and then Aries. So we have the 9th house, aka Sagittarius's house, and that is a house of higher learning, travel, and really of steep spiritual growth is one of the main things that Sagittarius is concerned with. So there is this connection you guys have on the astral plane, Sagittarius being ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is a God energy, and Jupiter is about our connection on the spiritual realm. It is about spiritual enlightenment, spiritual growth. And that's what I was saying, is I really feel like, maybe they feel you have been aligned with this person for the purposes of making you grow, because no one can trigger you, no one can upset you or make you learn more about yourself than your soulmate, than your twin flame, than your past life connection. No one knows the chords to hit, the buttons to press, and how to really, because anytime you're triggered, that's an opportunity for growth. Anytime you're upset, anytime you find yourself mad or jealous or whatever, it's not to say you can't listen to those emotions, but it's also like an opportunity of like, okay, let me see, why is this coming up? What is the growth that is required of me in this situation? Then we have Jupiter, which also rules over Pisces. So the ancient ruler of Pisces, in modern day rulership, it's Neptune. But Pisces is a very spiritual energy and very psychic, very intuitive, and also Venus is exalted in Pisces. So when you love someone with a Pisces energy, you really see the best in them. You see them for their soul. You don't see their flaws. You kind of gloss over that and look at them with those rose-colored glasses, and you just feel the energy of them and feel the good in them, see the potential in them. And I feel like that's how this person sees you and how they felt loved by you as well. Pisces is also extremely psychic, extremely intuitive. So again, this could be dreams and intuitions and just shared consciousness on the astral plane, where you may be very tied into and aware of what the other person is doing, even if they're not telling you, they're not texting you, they're not calling you. You might just feel so tied with them that the cord between you guys is so strong that you feel connected to them at every moment, no matter what. Then we have Aries energy. Aries is the house of the self. It's very independent. It opposes Libra on the astrological wheel, aka the 7th house of relationships. So Aries is a very kind of self-focused energy. And what's coming to my mind with this is that I feel like there is this push-pull in this person where they feel so drawn to you, but there's also this fear of losing independence. There's also this feeling of like, oh my God, who am I gonna be at the end of this? You know, am I losing my identity? I used to be this person, now I'm that person, like what? And I feel like they kind of struggle with that, and they may do things to sabotage. They may do things to kind of reclaim their independence in that kind of chaotic Aries way of like, you're not going to tell me what to do, no way. And so that's why Venus is debilitated in Aries. But yeah, I think it's also a very passionate energy. I mean, I'm a Venus Aries. I like Venus Aries. Speaking of it, Elizabeth Taylor was a Venus Aries. Speaking of that passionate kind of love that she had with Richard, who was also had a Mars-ruled sun, Scorpio sun. But yeah, so Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the planet of passion, sexuality, sex drive, and also of conflict. So sometimes it can be those relationships where you fight just to make up, or you fight just as hard as you make up, and you love just as much as you fight. And, you know, Aries is intrinsically tied to that. So that's why a lot of times, you know, with Mars, you don't just get to push and pick and choose the best parts of it. Like, oh, I just want the passionate sexuality, but I won't take the fights. I'll just leave that. Like, you really kind of need both, right? Like Aries is a package deal, or Mars is a package deal. So sometimes it can be those relationships where there is a lot of fighting, or there is a lot of conflict, or there is a lot of like, oh my God, they frustrate me. But it's also like you're so turned on by that person. You guys have a deep sexual connection. Again, this is something that was so strong in the connection with Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton. They fought so much. Crazy fights, but they were so obsessed with each other. And so yeah, that's kind of how it feels to me with you guys, is like you guys love hard, you fight hard, but it's like really no one else can like come close to this connection this person feels with you. So that is what I have for you, pile number 1. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon, where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your future spouse, so that's a really good one to watch. There are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. So if that sounds good to you and you're interested in signing up, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. If you want a tarot reading, an astrology session, a channeling session, a combination of all three, you can go ahead and go there and sign up for a session. Like I said, briarrosetarot.com. A link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon for another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 2, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards and see how this person views your connection. How your person views your connection. How does this person view the connection with pile number 2? Talisman. So I'm getting a vibe that this person is like going through a lot in their life right now. And they are sending you a message of how grateful they are for the support you provided them, even if it's just up on the astral plane, even if it's not you speaking to them in their daily life or doing anything active for them. I feel like they have grown so much from your connection, and they feel your support like all around them. It has brought so much for them. And I feel like they are, first of all, saying how grateful they are, and also saying if this person has been iffy about contact, if they have been really busy, if they haven't been able to do as much with you, then that may be a major reason why. It may not be that they're avoiding you or whatever. I feel like they have a lot going on and a lot they're working through. And this person is also saying that they kind of look up to you on some level as like a guide or some kind of mentor. I don't know if they've like changed themselves since they met you. Like maybe they changed their style to be more similar to yours, or maybe with this listening card, like they used to listen to a certain type of music, and then you told them about the kind of music you listen to, and now they listen to that, or they've changed their playlists, on Spotify. But I feel like for them, they really have learned from you, and they majorly look up to you. It's almost like this energy of like, I don't know if I'm even ready for this with pile number 2, because I put them up on such a pedestal. It's kind of like I always say, you might be really excited to get into Harvard, but the actual reality of like showing up on your first day and like, oh, it's cool that I got in, and it was really fun telling everyone this summer, like, yeah, I'm going to Harvard, yeah, I got in. But the actual reality of like, oh, now it's my first day at Harvard and I've got to work, and I'm surrounded by other kids who got like perfect scores on their SATs and had a 4.0 GPA and a 4.8 weighted GPA, and they're all super smart. That's going to be pretty scary, and maybe you were excited beforehand, but now that you have this, it's like, oh, what do I do with it? Or how am I going to make this happen? And I feel like the energy coming through is like this person is really grateful for meeting you, but it's also like I'm getting this huge sense of nerves, this huge sense of anxiety, and almost like I could see this person running or sabotaging it, because I feel like there's a part of them that just doesn't feel ready. It's almost like the vibe of, I've had this experience where like when I was younger, I remember there was this party I was so excited to go to. I planned my outfit, everything. I was like ready and excited. I was so looking forward to it. And then the night of, I just like had so much anxiety. I had played this party up so much in my mind. I was excited. It was kind of a fancy party, and I had played it up in my mind as like, oh my gosh, this could happen, that could happen, like I could dance with this guy, or I could talk to and it just was like the anxiety overwhelmed me, and I just decided not to go entirely, and I feel like that's the vibe I'm getting, where this person is excited. This person, it's not that they're not interested, it's not that they don't care, but there's a part of them that is like, I don't know, I might mess things up. Maybe it's better for me just to stay away from this person rather than let them in and see the truth of me, and then they're going to inevitably lose interest. So they may be operating off very unconscious motives. I'm also getting like a Neptunian Pisces vibe, and specifically the aspect of Pisces and Neptune in the 12th house that's about self-undoing and about self-sabotage and about unconscious motives, because this is something a lot of Pisces placements do. Any major Pisces placements, wherever it shows up in your chart, is an area where you might self-sabotage, or not even just I shouldn't say self-sabotage, because I think that's too simplistic as a Pisces sun. It's an area in your chart where you will operate off of unconscious motives. You'll do them, and sometimes that's actually serving you in a huge way. Sometimes it's something that needs to be sabotaged, but it's like something where you might just randomly decide, I'm going to go about it this way. And it doesn't even make sense to you. You don't even know what you're doing. I always compare this to like a Pisces Mars placement. It might be that person that accomplishes something not by like going for it openly, but by going about it in a roundabout way. So for example, like, they want to get a job and they're not sending their resume out. They're not sending their resume out. And then they get this download of like, you should go to the coffee shop. And so they go to the coffee shop, they're waiting in line, they get in a conversation with this guy, and he's a business owner. And then next thing you know, he's like, oh, I love talking to you. Have you considered working in blah, blah, blah fields? And next thing you know, they have a job. It's very unconscious. So the good in that can be doing things that really work out for you long term, but sometimes that can be also I don't know why I'm resistant. I don't know why I'm digging in my heels. I don't know why I'm doing something with this situation, and I can't even really get a hold of myself. I can't even really like figure out my psychology because it's so deep. Pisces energy, Neptune energy is so deep in your subconscious, in the collective unconscious even, that it can be affected by forces outside of yourself. Someone else is in a bad mood, your family is going through stress, society's under a stressful time, and the person just needs to like retreat. And that's what I'm getting with this person. I don't know if they have Pisces placements. I don't know why this is coming through so strong, but it feels like it's almost like a need to retreat, a need to hide away. And the 12th house is the house of hidden things, you know? So there's very much this like trying to put the brakes on, or trying to like, oh my God, I can't deal with this. This is too much for me. And I feel like this person, again, it's not that they don't care. And I really want to make that clear. It's not that they are trying to ruin things or that they don't want you. I feel like there's something so deep happening that it's hard for me to even work out what they're up to, what their motives are. I don't think they know either. I think they're just like compulsively feeling like, I don't know, I'm just gonna like not text anyone for days, or I'm just gonna like go ghost on my Instagram. And I feel like this person knows deep down that it's almost like this feeling of like, I'm ruining it. You know, I remember back to that story I told, but when I didn't go to that school dance or whatever it was, I don't know, it wasn't a school dance. It was like a formal dance. But as soon as I was like, yeah, I think I'm not gonna go, then you get anxiety too, because you're like, I know I should go. You know what I mean? I know I should go. I know I should just put on this dress, swallow the nerves, and just go. And that's the right thing to do. But it's like, I just can't, I don't know, I can't make myself go right now. I just don't want to do it. And I feel like that's what this person is doing, is there's a lot of fear. You know, sometimes it could be that they feel so strongly about you. They want you so much that it's like, I don't feel safe in this relationship because my feelings are so on the line. My feelings are so open and raw and vulnerable with this person. And I've never felt this way before. I've never felt so exposed. I feel like there's an energy of you seeing this person through to their core, really seeing them for who they are, really seeing past the BS. This is something, again, speaking of Pisces, Pisces can have a complex and this kind of delusional belief that they're secretive. You know, like, it is the 12th house of hidden things, prisons, monasteries, and kind of locations where there's like a quiet, hidden quality to them. And a lot of Pisces, I notice, can have this idea that like they're not seen, no one knows them. I know I've done this where like I'll go to the grocery store and be shopping, and someone will say, oh, you're always in here and you always get this. And I'm like, what? How do you know? How have you ever recognized me? Like I always feel like I'm totally anonymous and like no one notices me. And then someone will say like I'm invisible. And then someone will say like, oh yeah, I saw you in here on Sunday. And you're like, oh, what? And it feels almost a little shocking, because you have this idea that I'm invisible. And I feel like this person has this sense to them that they like, almost like they were comfortable not being seen. They were comfortable when no one noticed them. And I feel like then you came in and saw through to who they are in their core, who they really are deep, deep inside their soul. And there is this vibe with like not being okay with that. And maybe they thought they wanted it, but when it actually happens, like I said, when that has happened to me and someone's like, yeah, wait, are you vegan? You get a lot of veggies or something. I'm always like, oh, and I'm always shocked like how much I hate it, and how I'll be like, okay, I'm never coming to this store again. Or, okay, so I think they work on Thursdays. I'm not coming in on Thursdays. And even though it's stupid, even though you're like, like they were being friendly and, but like, I feel like, yeah, that can come up when you have a fear of being seen, when you just think you're totally fine, anonymous, whatever. And then it's like, oh, this person gets me. This person knows me. They notice me. They see me. In some ways, it can trigger feelings of inadequacy or feelings of just, I don't want to be seen like that. Like, I'm not ready for this. And yeah, especially if you've been going to the grocery store, like in your sweatpants, looking sloppy, and someone's like, oh yeah, you're here so often. And you're like, oh, I'm so glad you noticed me with my disheveled, horrific outfit that looks like I just rolled out of bed. you know, it may not be the best feeling. And so I feel like with this person, it's almost like they don't feel ready, or meeting you made them realize areas that they may need to step up in their life, areas that they're like, this isn't fully finished. This isn't fully like I thought. I'm not ready for this. I wish I had more time to work on it. And that may be what they're trying to do, is just stall for time. They may be trying to build, they may be trying to grow a little bit more and like find a way to improve themselves so that they can come back to you, so that they can circle back and like impress you more in the future. You know what I mean? It may be that just right now they feel like, I don't know, I'm not all there. It's not the place I want it to be yet. I still have some work to do, and I still have some things that need to be like fixed into place and adjusted and like improved upon. And I feel like that could be something that's also going on with them, is maybe they're just trying to like buy time and just kind of stall a little bit so that they can then return to you when they're feeling better. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 2. How does this person view the connection with pile 2? How does this person view the connection with pile number 2? The Devil card reversed. Wow. So this is very compulsive. You know, wherever you have the Devil card, you have a lot of compulsive behavior, sometimes traumas, sometimes, you know, acting out of a place of that deep recess of the subconscious that's not maybe the best, healthiest place to act out of. Like, I always think the Devil card gives the energy of like just eating an entire bag of chips and a gallon of ice cream and not tasting any of it, just doing it because you're clearly running away from some emotion, or, you know, over exercising and doing it compulsively, or being addicted to any kind of drug or alcohol. Like, it's like, I don't even know why I'm doing this. It's very unconscious. It's that person that comes home from work and they're stressed and they don't even pause to think. Next thing they know, they're ripping open the potato chips and they're just stuffing it in their face. And there's no thought of like, oh, these potato chips are really good. There's not even an enjoyment of the food. It's just this mad like, oh, I gotta eat this, because that's the unconscious energy of like the Devil card, the running away, the compulsive, the stuffing down of feelings, the feeling of like, I'm tied, I'm stuck, I can't get out of this, that makes us act in stupid ways. And I feel like that's the vibe here with this person. It's like they still have stuff they're dealing with. They still have things they're trying to take care of. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if in the future they really regret how they acted. They really look back on this and they think, yeah, I really messed some things up, or I should have been more upfront, because it's giving me the energy of like a runner. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people who pick this pile are in no contact with this person, or they haven't texted you back, or if you're in a relationship, maybe they just randomly will ghost for a couple days, or you won't hear from them, they won't text you back for a while, or you'll be in a relationship and they're starting fights randomly. They're like, it's like, I feel like this is someone acting out of that place of fear and desperation, and they don't even know what's bothering them. They don't even know what's going on. They don't even know what's wrong. You know, they're just like in a full-on panic, being like, ah, and yeah, it's like they kind of don't know how to fix it or what to do different. They just know that they feel awful. They just know that they feel unaligned. And I feel like even the idea of you stresses them out, but not because they don't like you, but just because I feel like they kind of feel like you're a lot better than them. They feel like in their mind, you have your life together, or you are requiring too maybe more behavior of them than they're ready for. Like, maybe you are like, no, I'm not going to text you at 2 a.m. or no, like, you need to come correct when you talk to me. And so you know, let me know when you can take me on a real date or something like that. And it's like you're requiring something of them that they may not feel capable of. Or in a relationship, maybe you require more maturity. Maybe you're like, listen, you know, you can't drop out and not text me for 3 days. If I don't hear from you, that's a problem. And they're like not used to that. They're not used to responsibility. They're not used to obligation. So they might be reacting by being like, oh no, let me sabotage. Let me get my space back. Let me find my identity again. And it can almost feel like when you feel a deep love, it can feel like that loss of the self. Keeping in mind on the astrological wheel, Aries, the sign of the self and your own personal identity, the first house, opposes Libra, aka the house of relationships. So literally that can be such a sense of tension. Like, I was this individual and now I'm subsumed, swallowed up in this relationship, and I only think about this person, or all my interests are around them, or I used to be this person that like loves blah blah blah, and now suddenly I'm different, you know? Like, I know for me with, yeah, with my boyfriend, like he loves comedies and I hate comedies. I am like a comedy hater, right? Probably one of the only, it's, I'm like, I'm clearly the problem in this, because it's totally normal to like comedies. I just don't like them. Like, I do not ever like comedies, pretty much ever. I like dark, depressing films, which again, I understand I'm probably the problem. I'm probably the weirdo. But yeah, so it's been something that we have completely opposing taste. Any movie that I'm like, that looks really good, he's not interested in. Any movie that he's like, that looks so good, I'm like, no, I do not want to watch it. So, you know, at a certain point, it's like you can try to find compromise, you can try to find one we both like, but most of the time, someone's going to have to give a little bit more, because there's just no like middle ground. You know what I mean? There's no like, oh, we both love this. It's just like we're completely opposite tastes on that. And so, you know, that's the thing in the seventh house of Libra. You're balancing, you're adjusting, you're giving up something you would like. You might have said in the past, I never watch comedies, and now you find yourself having to sit through a comedy. Or you might have said, oh, I'd never watch one of those depressing films, and now you're having to watch it, you know? So it's like, oh, this person I was is now changing. And that can be scary if you're not ready for it. If you feel, if you're still clinging to that version of yourself or this kind of independence, that can feel very, almost like an attack. And I feel like with you guys, what's coming through is that this person is just kind of floundering, trying to make sure that they still don't lose their independence, or who they see as what they are. Let's get some more tarot cards. Okay, so we got the Ten of Cups. And how does this person view their connection with pile number 2? How does this person view their connection with pile number 2? Ooh, so we have some really beautiful positive cards coming through, the Ten of Cups and the Six of Cups. So they may also view it as kind of a warm place for them to land. And I feel like when they're with you, things seem really lovely. Things seem really nurturing. Again, with the Ten of Cups, though, they may think you require, like, you're ready for that domesticity in the relationship. You're ready to kind of settle down. I feel like this person sees you as someone they could settle down with. They see you as someone that they feel super comfortable with. And that's maybe what scares them, is if they're not ready for that, if they are used to running away with this Eight of Cups, habitual running away, then that might be something that just they are like terrified of. You know, when you actually look at like the Eight of Cups, it's actually not someone leaving a super negative situation. You can see over here, a lot of the cups are upright. So cups that are upright in tarot symbolize situations that are pretty good and emotionally fulfilling. And then downward, like fallen cups symbolize situations that are bad, simplifying it really easily. So anyway, the fact that all these cups are upright shows that he's leaving a situation, even though it may be serving him, it may be a good situation, and he's still leaving. So this person may have a history of doing that, where like when things get even slightly tough, even if it's still emotionally fulfilling on some level, this person's ready to bounce. They're not going to stick around. They're not going to stay. I feel like they feel almost, I could definitely see if this person does sabotage this connection, that they would probably come back at some point. This could even be someone you're in a relationship with, and it's almost like they can't help but try to want space, or they can't help but do these dysfunctional things, but then later they regret it, or later they look back and they're like, oh my God, why did I do that? Or that was stupid, or whatever. So I feel like there is, like I said, a push-pull going on. And there is this sense of almost maybe this person trying to get better, trying to improve. I feel like they definitely have strong memories of you. They definitely do look back at the times you guys had together. The Six of Cups is a card of memory, of looking back at how things used to be. So I definitely feel like this person reminisces about their time with you and has a lot of fond memories of you. And with the Page of Pentacles as well, they may be looking back at your connection and trying to rebuild, trying to get better, trying to improve themselves, because the Page of Pentacles is, you know, an energy that's like trying to improve themselves, especially financially. The Page is a very energetic, like, let's go for it energy. And then Pentacles is money and your finances, your stability in life. So they may be really trying to improve that part of their life. And that could also be taking up a lot of their focus, energy, and intentions. Let's get into some song cards for you. Pile number 2. What songs do we have for pile 2? So we got Nightmare, Miley Cyrus, okay. A Sky Full of Stars, Coldplay. A Heart Wants What It Wants, Selena Gomez. Orange Trees, Marina. Ivy, Taylor Swift. And let's get one final card, Moondance, Van Morrison. So yeah, I love the song Ivy. It's probably my favorite Taylor Swift song, which I obviously really like her songs. I mention her in my readings sometimes. But yeah, Ivy, I feel like has such great lyrics. And I love the lyric of my house of stone, your ivy grows, and now I'm covered. And I feel like with this person, they feel that like it's that energy of like you kind of snuck up on them. They weren't expecting this. They weren't necessarily looking or ready for this. And I feel like it's almost like a little inescapable for them. Like they kind of feel you everywhere. A Sky Full of Stars always reminds me of how when you're really in love with someone, you look up at the stars and you automatically think of that person, no matter if they're on the other side of the world, no matter what's going on. But you think about, you know, there's something about the stars that brings up those memories or feelings of a loved one. And it almost is like the great truth teller, right? Like you could be like, I don't care about that person, I'm over him. But if you're staring up at a dark sky full of stars, you're going to think of that person that you really are carrying in your heart. And I feel like that's what this person is kind of feeling. Like maybe they do try to run away, maybe they do try to sabotage, but deep down inside, there are these very deep feelings and also this intense gratefulness for the connection you guys have and for the spiritual dimension of it. And I feel like this person wants you to know that even if they have ghosted or gone dark or not really texted a lot, it's like they still do think of you. They still do carry you in their heart. They haven't completely abandoned you, and they want you to know that. They want you to be aware that even though they may not have been the most dependable or reliable at times, even though they may have messed things up at times, they still care about you for a great deal. And they don't want you to think that like their behavior is an accurate representation of their feelings. I feel like this person really stuffs down their emotions. Moondance is bringing that up to me as well, because the moon is a very hidden energy. It's the darker luminary, and it doesn't show up all the time. If you think about the other luminary, the sun, it's out there every day. Even on a cloudy day, you can still feel the rays of the sun. You know, anyone who's slept in a room without curtains and tried to sleep in past like sunrise knows that feeling of like, oh my God, how bright is the freaking sun today? Even if you're, you know, even if you're in not that bright of a place or it's a cloudy day, like you will be awakened by the sun. It's so unmistakable. The moon, on the other hand, like some nights there's no moon. It just disappears entirely. Some nights there's a sliver of light. You know, if it's a cloudy night or there's some rain or something, you won't be able to see the moon at all. You know, the moon comes and goes. Even at full strength on a full moon, you only see things in slivers. So there's a very hidden, mysterious quality to the moon. And I feel like that's this person as well. It's also moon is emotions. And I feel like this person likes to kind of hide their emotions. I don't feel like this person feels comfortable being vulnerable, being open, being, you know, fully transparent about things. I feel like there's almost shame coming through, or like wishful thinking of like, I don't want to come off like a simp. I don't want to come off like I'm obsessed. I don't want to be cringy. And they may be trying to really like hide their emotions, not just from you, but from themselves even. Let's get into some of these cards for you. Pile number 2. How does this person view their connection with pile 2? How does this person view their connection with pile number 2? So we got new beginnings, okay? They may want, especially if they've disappeared on you or you haven't heard from them for a while, they may want a new beginning with you. Psychic abilities. There's a lot of like watery energy coming through. So you guys may also feel a deep psychic connection with this person, and they may feel able to connect with you on the astral plane. Love. And we got 2 final cards, well-being and financial health. I also feel like this person's higher self is coming through just to say they also want you to look out for yourself. I feel like you're such a giver, pile number 2, and you're the kind of person that really worries about people that you love. You will take care of anyone who you're close to. You will stand up for people. And I feel like this person is saying like they are so grateful for that aspect of you, and they might be taking time to work on themselves, and they just want to give you that permission that you can do that for yourself too. And you don't have to stand by and wait for this person, because I do feel like they are working on themselves a lot. We got this financial health card as well. So they could literally, Page of Pentacles, be trying to improve their finances, be trying to build a company or build their career up. And again, their silence or their lack of presence doesn't mean they don't care about you. I feel like they are doing some intense inner work, and they want to make sure you know that that's not why they have disappeared. It's not they don't care. We did get the love card. Like, their emotions for you are strong. I feel like this person is working and building. If this is someone you're in a relationship with, maybe this is what they want you to know, as far as like if they sometimes aren't as responsive or they don't text you throughout the day. It's not that they don't care. It's not that they don't, have feelings for you. Maybe it's like, listen, I've got to focus on this. I'm trying to build something. I'm trying to do something. I'm under a lot of stress. But yeah, it's like, I feel like this person is just going through a lot. Let's get into some astrology dice for you, pile number 2. So we got the 4th house, okay, aka Cancer. And then we have Scorpio, and we have the nodes. Wow. So there's a lot of water, Scorpio and then Cancer, both water signs. So there is a heavily emotional psychic energy here. And I was picking up on Pisces at the beginning, but I definitely get that Cancerian vibe as well as Scorpio. One thing water has, I mean, they have a lot in common, but all the water signs have something secretive about them. They generally like to be secretive or not show everything. And it's not because they don't have emotions. It's actually because they have so many emotions that all the water signs need an element of protection, be it the crab having the pinchers, Scorpio having the little singer, or Pisces having the fish's ability to swim away. They all need to protect themselves, because not because they don't care, not because they're not emotionally invested. It's because they're too emotionally invested that they're like, no, I can't show you this. Like, this is private. There's also something hidden about water. And so people can sometimes make that mistake. They think, that the person who's sending them the texts every day or is coming on really strong and being like, you're so beautiful, is the person that cares the most. But it might be that person that is kind of quieter, It's kind of giving me the vibe of like from Pride and Prejudice, how Mr. Wickham, came on really strong and was very like charming or whatever, and was like flirty. And Elizabeth was like, oh, he's so cute, I really like him. But it was Mr. Darcy who really loved her the most, but he was like awkward and didn't feel comfortable talking about it and didn't have any riz because he wasn't a player. So he would just like stare at her across the room, but he was the one who was more in love with her. You know what I mean? And so there is that vibe coming through with the hidden element of water, is like, don't mistake, just because you can't see anything doesn't mean it's not there. This is an integral part of water. If you think about water, a lot of times you look at the surface, it looks completely smooth, but the undercurrent underneath is going so fast. Or it looks like, wow, that's a beautiful day, everything's great, the water looks good, and there's an alligator or a crocodile right underneath, or a shark or whatever, a submerged boat that sank, buried treasure. There's so many things that can be hidden. So I feel like why that's coming through is just to mention to you that just because this person may give off a certain vibe or may not make their intentions as known, doesn't mean they don't care, and their higher self really wants you to know that. This South Node energy coming through, you guys may literally know each other from past lifetimes. You may literally feel like you met this person before, or that there's unconscious things playing out. There's life lessons, there's karma still at play. I feel like this person does feel very drawn to you, but it's almost like they're having to keep you at bay, or they're having to keep you at a distance right now for some reason. Their life may not be ready to fully bring you in, and they may be working to fix that or change that. But I do feel like their higher self is so grateful for the things they learned from you, from the things you taught them. And it's like, just don't think that just because it looks stagnant, nothing's happening. Because I do feel like they're kind of paddling madly under the surface. Another water metaphor, right? Like ducks that look like they're gliding on the surface, they're actually paddling underneath the whole time and working pretty hard. So don't think that just because it looks like nothing's happening, that they're just chilling, they're fine. I feel like they definitely hide their emotions. They definitely don't want you to see everything. They may even have a hard time like confiding in you or opening up or being vulnerable, but I feel like they do care a lot for you, pile number 2. So that is what I have for you, pile 2. I really hope that resonates, guys. If you want to see more of my content, then be sure to head to my Patreon where I post all my additional readings. I just posted a reading all about your future spouse, but there are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon. You also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos. You get to be the first to see my YouTube videos. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in joining us, then head on over to my Patreon. The link for that is underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description. And if you would like to sign up for a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you are looking for a tarot reading, an astrology session, a channeling session, or a combination of all 3, you can book that for yourself at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I am sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye. Hey, pile 3, welcome to your reading. Let's get into your cards and see how this person views your connection. So, how does this person view their connection with pile number 3? Okay, Field of Dreams. Wizard of Awareness, okay. How does this person view their connection with pile number 3? Let's get one more card. So we got details, and mountain. So this person may be very interested in you as a bit of a challenge. I feel like for you with them, you kind of get this spark going in them or this desire to almost like conquer you, or maybe they feel like they don't have you fully figured out and they kind of enjoy the challenge you present to them. You know, it's kind of reminding me of how Mars in astrology rules over like fighting and arguments and that kind of tension, but it also rules over the sex drive. So a lot of times, you know, people will say that there's a couple that like they're fighting all the time, but they're also so passionate, or they have like the best sex life. And it's like, unfortunately, those things can be very intertwined. That passionate feeling of Mars, you don't get to necessarily pick and choose. Oh, like I only want the fun sexuality aspect of it. I don't want any of the fighting. You know what I mean? Like, unfortunately, if you want a very Mars-filled, passionate relationship, you got to kind of take the arguments too, or the back and forth, you know. It's just, it's that Mars energy doesn't just come through selectively, you know. And I feel like for you guys, there is this vibe where this person, maybe sometimes you drive them crazy, or maybe sometimes they drive you crazy. But I feel like they keep coming back for more. They keep, you know, being fascinated by you. It's like they can't get enough. And that Mars energy, it's reminding me of Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. They're on my mind a little bit lately because I read this book about their love, and it's called Furious Love. If anyone's interested in reading it, I think the author is Sam Kasner, but I could be wrong, but it's called Furious Love. Anyway, it's such an interesting read because they are probably like the most famous couple of the 20th century and so iconic in their day. And they had such a passionate connection. And I think it's interesting, like Elizabeth Taylor has Venus in Aries, for example, so Venus in a Mars sign, and then Richard Burton is a Mars ruled sun, a Scorpio, and a Scorpio sun. And I feel like that was something people said, is they would fight, but they would make up just as hard. And even towards the end of their relationship, when they had been together for like 25 years, and then they had gotten a divorce, then they got back together, then they got another divorce, but he was still talking about her, writing about her. He was still endlessly fascinated with Elizabeth, even over his much younger wife. And he would tell people, there's still something about her that fascinates. There's still something about her that's on my mind. And it's like he couldn't put the puzzle pieces together and figure her out. She was this kind of like she had a really combination of like this very sweet part of herself and then this very passionate side of herself. So he could never feel like he fully had her, you know, figured out. And he had slept with so many women in his life, but Elizabeth was the one he was just kind of obsessed with. And that's what's coming to my mind with you, with this connection, is it's like, I feel like this person may view you as a challenge, or may view you with a lot of interest of like, I don't know, there's something about pile 3 that just keeps me coming back for more, just keeps me interested in them no matter what, even at times when I should be done with them, or at times when I've thought I was done, or at times when I'm like, why am I still dealing with this? It's like I still have some fascination, even if I try to run away from it. So I feel like for them, it's like you are endlessly interesting, and they could, you know, maybe study you all day long, or they could maybe lurk your Instagram and try to find out information about you. They might try to like stalk your following list or your followers list. I feel like you definitely play in their mind with a lot of thoughts that they have for you all the time. And I also feel like this person is very ambitious, or maybe a little ego driven. And maybe they didn't kind of like calculate for you to come in, or for them to be in a relationship. I also feel like this person has a lot of natural pride. So it's kind of something where usually they don't like to feel subservient. They don't like to feel like someone else has that power over them. And I do say subservient because it's more like that's them talking. I wouldn't say like you're subservient to someone you're in love with, but I feel like that's kind of how they view it, is like, oh, really? So you get to call the shots? Oh, really? So you're in control of me? And maybe if you're in a relationship with this person, and maybe sometimes you're like, hey, by the way, make sure to text me at blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, I shouldn't have to tell you where I'm going, or I shouldn't. And there may be that kind of push pull sometimes where you're like, oh my God, why are they putting up a fight with everything? Or why is that such an issue? But I feel like there is this really strong sense with this person having an ego and wanting to hold on to their independence, and kind of like not wanting to be told what to do. If you are single or no contact with that person, that could be why. If they've gone no contact, that could be why. They're trying to like prove a point. They're trying to let you know like, hey, you don't boss me around. I'm the boss. Even if that's not the case, you know? And it definitely does, again, have that echo of Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor, because they were apparently always jostling for who would have the power in the relationship, who got to call the shots, who was the one who would dictate what they did. And both of them, it was like neither one fully won in the end. You know what I mean? Although I will say Elizabeth outlived Richard Burton by like 30 years. So maybe, I don't know, she just outlasted him, I guess. But yeah, I feel like this person, it's almost like they're beating themselves up for like, why am I so into pile 3? Why do I like them so much? And I feel like they definitely don't like to let you know how much they like you in the human realm. So in the actual physical dimension, I really wouldn't be surprised if this person held back their emotions, held back their feelings, weren't as communicative, weren't as verbal with you about how they were feeling. I feel like there's a big part of them that wants, again, that upper hand, and almost like doesn't feel comfortable stepping towards you until they feel like they know how you feel. But at the same time, I also feel like they've had other people who've made their intentions clear, or who've been interested in this person, and it almost causes them to lose interest. So it's like a hard line to walk, because I feel like on one end they're like, I want to know how pile 3 feels. Why won't they tell me? But then on the other hand, I feel like that keeps them coming back for more. The feeling that they never fully have control over you, the feeling like they never fully know what you're thinking, I think actually just fascinates them and keeps them coming back. But then there is that part of them that also, it kind of keeps them in withdrawal a little bit sometimes. Let's get into some tarot cards for you. Pile number 3. How is this person viewing this connection? So we got the Knight of Pentacles, and that's reversed. Okay. the Hermit card reverse. Interesting how many reversals are coming out. The Emperor. I definitely get the Emperor vibes with this person. Emperor card being ruled by Aries. So it feels like they definitely worry about kind of calling the shots or being the one in control. It's like they definitely want to be the one that gets to feel powerful. They may have a thing against like simping, or they may have told themselves like, I'll never simp, or, you know, I'm not doing that. Like, that's lame. And now they find themselves thinking about you or wanting to do certain things or having a desire to be vulnerable with you that I feel like kind of scares them. They may be very independent minded, because we also got the Hermit reversed. And the Hermit is, of course, a card about independence, about stepping away from society or friendships or romantic connections and kind of going it alone. So this person may have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder about that, about like, I have to do things by myself. I'm not going to be this simp. I'm not going to be this baby. I'm not going to be emotionally dependent on this person. And I feel like they may even, like, if you're in a relationship with this person, it may be, if they have a hard time sometimes checking in or sometimes doing things you expect, it may just be a force of habit for them, where like they're not trying to do anything bad, or they're not trying to do anything shady. Like, you might be like, oh, so you didn't text me? So why? Were you talking to girls? But actually, you know, they're not doing anything. They just have this like, why should I text you? Or, well, I just want to do my own thing and I'm proving a point. And you might be like, oh, this is so annoying. But I feel like it's, in a way, it's their way of self-protecting, because they do feel so strongly, and it makes them feel a little bit vulnerable with you. It makes them kind of worry about like, what if I do lose my sense of independence? What if I do lose my own identity and get kind of subsumed into this relationship? So they may have that push-pull thing, where sometimes they're pulling you in, they seem like they want more, and then sometimes they push you away. And I feel like it's almost something they're working through. It's like, okay, you know, how do I feel? Like, how can I be open to this? I don't know. Am I capable of a relationship, you know? Or I don't know. Am I just going to be, should I just be independent? Should I just be by myself? Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 3. How does this person view their connection with pile 3? So we got the 3 of Swords, the Hanged Man, aka, well, it's ruled by Neptune. And then we got the 4 of Swords. Okay, so 3 of Swords and then the 4 of Swords. I feel like this person, you know, there is a sense of disappointment. I feel like, I don't know if some of you guys, like, you put your foot down with them, or there was something where you, I don't know, removed your tolerance of them, you removed your energy. Maybe there were certain things you used to kind of like put up with them, or you used to turn the other cheek and not really like look at too hard, and you would just kind of ignore it or be like, oh, whatever. And now you're like, no, I'm taking my energy back, or I'm removing my energy, or I'm putting up an energetic block. But I feel like sometimes this person gets kind of sad about that. I almost wouldn't be surprised if some of them like acted out or sabotaged the relationship. And it's almost like Spirit is showing me it was a split-second decision, or it was a really quick, like, I'm just going to do this kind of a thing. Like, it wasn't an energy of, let me plan this out, let me think it through, let me, you know, I really feel strongly. Like, it's kind of like the difference between someone who ends a marriage and they've thought it out and they made a plan and they know deep in their heart that it's over and they can't keep going, and, you know, they're really okay with that, versus someone that just is in the heat of an argument and screams, I want a divorce, and they might not mean it, and 5 minutes later they might be like, oh, why did I say that? And they might really backtrack, and, you know, they might be able to talk to their partner and say like, hey, never mind. But maybe their partner's like, no, you said you wanted a divorce, screw you. But it's almost like, I feel like this person is coming through to say they made a choice like that, or they stepped away somehow, and they really thought that it was almost like, again, dysfunctional, or just operating out of a place of unconscious motives, which we can see really strong with this Hanged Man, aka the ruler is Neptune, and Neptune is definitely that subconscious energy. It rules Pisces, and that's why a lot of Pisces can kind of self-sabotage, but really Neptune is those unconscious motives. It's doing something out of a place that's so deep inside of us that we don't even recognize what's going on. We are just kind of along for the ride. It's not that logical, like, I'm going to do this because it's going to lead to that. And it makes perfect sense. It's like, I don't know, I just have to do this. And I feel like that's what was going on with this person. It's almost like they didn't want to, but they felt like they had to step away, or they felt like if they kept going that they were going to lose themselves. And then I feel like after they kind of acted out or had their tantrum, so to speak, or ruined things, now there is this sense of like, oh my God, did I just screw everything up? So I feel like they kind of sometimes really vacillate between feeling kind of really depressed and feeling like, I think I made a really bad mistake. I think that was really, really stupid. I feel like you guys may also have that really deep connection on the astral plane because we have Neptune, which is a highly psychic, intuitive energy. And then we also have the Four of Swords, which literally shows someone sleeping. So it may be that this person visits you in their dreams, in your dreams, and you guys have that connection on the astral realm. Maybe when you're listening to music, you have a lot of songs pop up that randomly remind you of this person from shuffle. But I feel like they feel super connected to you up on the astral plane, and spirit is showing me someone who's trying to play it cool and almost acting like unbothered, or acting like, nah, I don't really care that much, and deep down like checking your socials, checking to see what you're doing. If you act unbothered back and you're like, oh, okay, cool, it was good talking to you, being in like despair. So I could also see this being a connection that just isn't that old yet. Maybe for some of you guys, you are no contact with this person, or you are in a relationship with this person, and this person is just very big on like, I have to keep my independence. Or it could be that this is like a new connection, and this is something where this person is just not wanting to like overwhelm you, not wanting to come on super strong, not wanting you to know how much interest they do have in you. Let's get into some song cards for you. Pile number 3. So we want to know what songs are going to come through, how this person views their connection with pile number 3. So we got Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys, Kitchen Witch, Ariel Pink, White Mustang, Lana Del Rey, Harmony Hall, Vampire Weekend, Super Bass, Nicki Minaj. And let's get a couple more cards. What does that say? I can't. Marry Me, St. Vincent, and Honey and I, Haim. And this one is I Thought I Saw Your Face Today, She and Him. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a feeling of regret come through. I love the song I Thought I Saw Your Face Today. And I feel like it really sums up that vibe that maybe you've had a breakup with someone, or maybe you're still in a relationship with them. But a lot of times it happens when you have a breakup. Like, they're on your mind so much that you can't help that you walk in the grocery store and you just quickly scan it. Like, is that, oh my God, that dark haired guy, is that him? Oh no, it's just a random guy. It doesn't even look like him. But like, for a moment, you just imagine them everywhere. Everything reminds you of that person. And part of it is that panic you get after realizing, yeah, I kind of severed that. And like, I don't know if I can come back from that. I feel like this person is very interested in you, and they still have such a deep spark for you. They're still very excited about you. Again, you still feel to them like a challenge that they haven't won, like a challenge that still holds their focus big time. And I feel like for them, they're saying you're very independent. That Kitchen Witch song by Ariel Pink is also, of course, reminding me of the Metaphysical Girls, and all of us who do tarot or candles or, Reiki or yoga or anything like that, meditation, where we're tuned in with the other side. And that may also really like heighten their interest in you. They may even wonder, like, did they put a love spell on me? Are they doing something to me? But I feel like that like invigorates them and excites them towards you. Also with Kitchen Witch, to me, the emblem of a witch is just a woman who's very independent, right? Like she's not as subservient. And this is why I think witches got burned at the stake, is because like they're stepping outside of one, the authority of the church, but also, you know, this expected role of a woman as to just be like sweet and nurturing and loving to the kids and to the husband, and it's like a woman who has her own interests. She has her own power, and it's a kind of divine feminine, dark feminine power that men can't really touch. Of course, there can be male witches, but it's mostly dominated by women. So it's like this spiritual sphere that a lot of men don't feel comfortable in, and is kind of run by women, and that's where the fear comes in. So what's also coming to my mind with you is like this independence you have, this kind of like untouchable, or I'm not giving up myself and my identity for you. I am not compromising myself to make you happy. And I feel like this person, on one hand, they kind of resent it, or they might get in their feelings about it, or be like, well, screw you. But then on the other hand, they're like, oh, like I can't get enough of it. I'm fascinated. I keep coming back for more from this person. I feel like they do have fantasies and thoughts about like things just being really peaceful with you. We got Wouldn't It Be Nice by the Beach Boys. This could even be someone you're in a relationship with and you guys fight a lot. If this person kind of thinks, oh, pile 3 could just act right. If they could just be like, they're the problem. So if they could just be cool, then everything would be chill. And actually, we know it's not that simple, of course. But it's like, I feel like they fantasize about you kind of being like docile and sweet and so nice to them. But at the same time, if you did that, again, they may lose interest. They kind of like your wildness. They kind of like this rebelliousness that you give off. White Mustang by Lana always reminds me of that like rebellious vibe, like, I don't know, someone chain smoking cigarettes in the middle of the suburbs or something. I don't know, in like a old Mustang convertible or whatever. But yeah, I feel like, you know, there's this untamable quality to you. I'm seeing that scene in Sex and the City where Carrie like sees Big with his new fiance, and then she says something like, maybe some women weren't meant to be tamed, maybe they were meant to run free. And then they show like the image of like a Mustang or some horse, some wild looking horse, and interpose that shot with like Carrie's face. And that's what I'm feeling with you guys, is like you feel very wild and independent, not in a sense of like you're wild like necessarily super sexual or doing anything crazy, but I feel like you really maintain your independence. You really have this strength and this power and this untamable quality. And I feel like this person just, you know, they kind of hate it, but they love it at the same time. Let's get some of these cards for you. Pile number 3. How does this person view the connection with pile number 3? How does this person view the connection with pile number 3? Beauty. Yes, they are so attracted to you, pile 3. They definitely see you as absolutely gorgeous. And I think that's another thing that keeps them coming back for more, is just like your physicality. Like it's almost like, no offense, but if you weren't so attractive, I feel like this is something they tell themselves, like, geez, if they weren't so hot, like I would be able to just move on, because it's almost like they're saying like, oh, you are a lot of work, pile 3. But again, I feel like it's not just as simple as that. They also are drawn to your energy. They can talk all day long about, oh, I wish they were submissive. I wish they, you know, it's just because of their looks. But it's like, yeah, there's plenty of attractive people though. If you really, you know, if you really were just looking for a subservient, pretty person, there's lots of options. You like the challenge that pile 3 provides. That keeps you coming back for more. Going back to Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, like, yes, Elizabeth Taylor is physically stunning. She's so beautiful. But there's also a lot of beautiful women. Just like, you know, with Marilyn Monroe, there's lots of other beautiful blondes. But Elizabeth Taylor and Marilyn Monroe were the 2 sex icons of beauty for the 20th century. And I feel like, you know, a lot of that is because, I don't know, they both have Venus Aries, they're both feisty, they both, you know, there's something different about their energy. And Elizabeth was super feisty. She was known to be feisty even in interviews. Everyone knew. It wasn't like a secret. And that's, I think, what fascinated people, was like, she wasn't just the sweet little docile actress who would be like, yes, in an interview. She was this beautiful woman that looked like an angel, but she swore like a sailor, and people knew that. And she was bawdy, and she was like wild, and she would like, you know, she had an affair on her husband's, and she would steal a man if she wanted to, and she would cover herself in diamonds. She was never trying to be like the good girl. You know what I mean? And as much as people might have been like, oh, this is shocking, and the Vatican issued a rebuke of her relationship with Richard Burton, and she was, people would act like they were mad, but her movies would always sell out, and she would sell out magazines, and people couldn't get enough of her. So it's like this vibe where people can say they want, quiet, easy, but the reality is a lot of times that's not what people go for. Let's get some more cards for you. Pile number 3 to see how this person views the connection. So we got friendship, commitment, wow, and psychic abilities, and let's get one more. Oh wow, love. So we got like all these cards that are like cornerstones of love. There's the beauty, there's the attraction, there's the friendship, there's the commitment and love and psychic abilities. So wow, I feel like this person definitely could be in it for the long haul, especially if you're actually in a relationship with this person. And like I said, maybe sometimes they don't act right. Maybe sometimes they do things that annoy you, but it could be the vibe of them trying to seem like they're maintaining their independence, them trying to be like, you're not going to tell me what to do, but actually deep down, you are telling them what to do. You know what I mean? Like, it's like that guy who says, like, I've seen jokes where guys will say like, yeah, so like some skit from like Key and Peele or something where a bunch of guys are talking about like, yeah, so my girlfriend told me this, and I told her, get out of here, I'm not doing it. And like, they're telling these stories about like, yeah, so I kicked her out of the room, and then like the wife calls and he's like shaking, picking up the phone, and he's like, and none of that happened. Like she wears the pants, but it's like these guys are trying to bluff. These guys are trying to come off like they control it, and that's a very ego thing. It's like, some of us, probably all of us, don't necessarily want to be known for when we're in a relationship and we're like all ooey gooey and lovey to that person, and it's low-key kind of embarrassing to like show that side of yourself to anyone else. Like, you get so vulnerable in that relationship. So if you're in a relationship with this person, this could definitely be one that lasts a long time and goes for the long haul. Let me get some astrology dice for you. Pile number 3. What astrological energies are at play for pile 3? So we got the 3rd house, aka Gemini, and then we have Uranus, aka Aquarius, and then we have, double Gemini. Wow. Okay, so let's spin this one more time just to diversify a little bit. This is Gemini. I love when Spirit's like, did I stutter? I really want to get one more sign though. Let me see. Any other energies or no? Okay, Pisces. Okay, so we got something else. So cool. So definitely heavy emphasis on Gemini. Then we have Pisces and Aquarius. So with Gemini, this person may feel like they learn a lot from you, or they're fascinated by the way you talk. They may literally love the way you talk and the way you speak. And also they may feel like it's just endlessly interesting conversation. Again, I feel like there's a lot of mental fascination that this person has with you. Like this details card, like, it feels like they just kind of could study you all day or think about you all day, or they're curious about you. They want to learn. You keep their mind running. You keep them fascinated. You keep them curious. They never feel like they have you fully figured out. And that's a very Gemini thing. And that's the thing, is like Geminis kind of have to be kept occupied. Like, it's like they have so many different interests. They're so curious about everything that it's like they'll kind of jump from one topic to another. And this is why also Gemini placements, Gemini suns, or like a Gemini Venus or a Gemini Mars can be known as like, they get bored easily, so they might not be as monogamous as like, a fixed sign Venus energy, like, I don't know, a Leo Venus or something like that, or a Taurus Venus that might really fixate on one person, and that's all they want. And they're not going to get as bored. But I feel like with you guys, that's the thing, is you don't let this person get bored. You still keep things really interesting and fresh for them. And they kind of, like I said, can't get enough. They kind of end up just very tuned to you, and very like curious, and very, thinking about you so much of the time and never like fully losing interest in you. So yeah, I feel like for them, it's something that even though they may have lost interest in the past, or maybe sometimes in the past they just move on to the next, it's like with you, you keep that fascination going. You're like, also Gemini is the twin. Gemini has like multiple personalities, basically. They have multiple facets to them. They're not just one sided or just super predictable. Gemini themselves can be very different and elusive, and one moment they're this way and the next they're another way. So I feel like you keep their focus and you keep their interest in that way. It's like they're never bored, you know? And then we have Aquarius. Aquarius likes a lot of space. It's ruled by Uranus, an outer planet, and it really likes to kind of have some distance emotionally. And again, that's the vibe I get with this person, is sometimes they might intentionally put some distance because it's like they're trying to get their independence back. They're not trying to get completely lost and subsumed in the relationship. And sometimes, even if it's a great relationship, that sudden like, oh my gosh, I'm with this person all the time, or I think about them all the time, or I'm obsessed with them, can feel a little scary. Like, who have I become? What am I becoming? Like, how is this me now? Like, I used to be an independent person and I could just like go do my own thing all the time. And now if I'm apart from this person for like, you know, 5 hours, I'm freaking out, or 12 or a day or whatever, or a few days, I'm like panicked, you know, and I need to call them, I need to talk to them. And it can feel like that threat, that loss of identity, or being so called to someone, so drawn to them. And maybe you haven't done anything yet. You haven't like moved forward the relationship yet, but you're like, I'm thinking of them obsessively. I'm so into them. I'm so like, wow. And that can feel scary. Like, oh my God, what's happening to me? Where is my old identity? Where is this old version of myself? And where did it go? And it's been replaced now with this simp that's just obsessed. And that doesn't necessarily feel like the best feeling. Then we have Pisces energy. Pisces is where Venus is exalted. So ultimately, there is this really deep, beautiful love between you guys. And I feel like with this person, they do feel super connected to you. And they do see you with rose-colored glasses as very perfect for them. You know, they may resist it. They might fight against it. They may kind of try to push you away at times, but deep down inside, there is this real love, respect, and admiration for you coming through, and really seeing like the beauty in you, and really seeing the goodness in you, and feeling super spiritually connected to you on the astral plane, maybe feeling like they can feel your moods, your emotions, or vice versa. So yeah, that is what I have for you, pile number 3. I really hope that resonates, guys. If it did and you want to see more of my readings, then you can head on over to my Patreon, where I post all my additional content. I just posted a reading all about your future spouse, but there are over 90 exclusive readings you'll only get access to when you sign up for Patreon, and you also get early and ad-free access to all my YouTube videos, so you will be the first to get to watch my YouTube videos when you sign up over there. If that sounds good to you and you're interested in joining, head to the link underneath the timestamps in the comments and the description and join me on Patreon. Also, if you're interested in booking a private session with me, you can do that at my website, briarrosetarot.com. Whether you would like a tarot reading, an astrology session, a channeling session, or a combination of all 3, you can book that, like I said, at my website, briarrosetarot.com, and the link for that is in my description. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm sending you so much love and light, and I will see you again very, very soon with another reading. Take care, guys. Bye.